There have been some new Star Wars Shatterpoint articles today, and the detail is very fascinating. So let's jump in and talk about what we've got. We've actually got 2 articles, which, you know, we're blessed. I think that's probably because Adepticon is just around the corner, but let's show you anyway. And yes, you heard that right, we have 2 articles. The first one is going to be about attacking, and this is very interesting because it's attacking and the dice as well. And yeah, it's very intriguing. This image basically explains the dice. The attack dice is at the top, the defense dice at the bottom. What's interesting is there is no blank, there is actually a failure icon which is the same both on the attack dice and the defense dice. The expertise one, which if you're familiar with Legion, I'm sort of guessing is like a surge, right? It's that kind of wild card, which I think might be on the Atomic Mass ones, not the Atomic Mass ones, I mean Marvel Crisis Protocol. And they basically have a critical on the attack and they have a normal hit on the attack as well. Critical and strike. And for defense, it's block and defensive expertise. Again, like Surge, right? There's just no blanks. So very similar to the Legion dice on the defense. Depending how many are on each side, one of them might correspond to either the red defense dice or white defense dice. Obviously, I don't know which. And it might not be, it might be in the middle. What's interesting is that criticals cannot be blocked by block. However, your strikes, they can be blocked by block. But yeah, very similar to the concept in Legion. Generally, that relates to cover, whatever, but you know what I mean? Similar-ish in style. We also see a closer look at the actual stance cards and get what this actually means. So I've zoomed in a little bit here because hopefully they'll explain it a little bit better. Let's talk about the expertise first because that's the way that they do it. Essentially, the number of expertise you get will correspond to, I think, either the attack here or the defense here. It's not overly clear by the naming here because it says lightsabers and then acrobatics. I don't quite get the naming here, but effectively the amount of expertise you get will let you do other stuff. For example, it could be criticals, hits, block. You might be able to reposition, dash, jump, or even activate unit ability cards, right? So I think what this means is if you're attacking and let's say you had 2 expertise, then I'm pretty sure that corresponds to the strike symbol. So if you have 1 or 2, then you get 2 extra strikes in your attack. If you have 3 or 4 expertise, then you're going to get 2 criticals. Now I'm guessing that it means you actually get the number here. So I don't think 1 expertise gives you 1 hit. I think 1 or 2 both give you 2, unless I'm reading that incorrectly. Obviously, we just don't know. If you get 5 expertise, which seems unlikely, right? Then you will actually get 3 criticals on the attack. Okay, cool. Acrobatics, I'm guessing applies to the defense, right? Because it just makes sense. It's the defense's symbol. 1 to 2 gives you a block, and then some other tokens that I actually just don't know what that is. This looks like a jump or a force move or something like that. I think this symbol here might be a health back, but it's hard for me to say, right? Either way, we'll find out in good time. Cool, that expertise system, really nice. I actually like it. Cool. Over here, the dice are exactly as we expected. This is a ranged ability. Well, it's actually the ranged section, I guess you could call it. She doesn't have a ranged attack Ahsoka. It's blank. And for if she's taking a ranged attack against her, then she gets 5 dice. Similarly, on the offensive in melee, she's going to do 7 attack dice, and in 5 if she's taking a melee attack. Defense dice, that is, obviously. Pretty cool. The name of the stance is there. This one is called Jar Kite. Somebody will know that. Don't correct me, I don't care. I'm very bad with names anyway. And then we get onto the interesting thing here, which is the combat tree. Now, the combat tree, if I'm honest, I'm slightly confused a little bit. Basically, it's how you convert successes into results. So it's not as simple as you do 5 damage, you just do 5 damage, if that makes sense. And your successes are basically your hits minus the defense. Keep in mind that you can't block criticals. So if you rolled 3 criticals and nothing else, well, your block isn't really going to do anything. They'll still go through, okay? But if you rolled 3 strike and then they got 2 blocks, then you get 1 through. And I'm guessing it's that 1 that determines where you are on this list. So let's say only you get 1 success. I'm going to guess that you do 2 stamina damage. Whereas if you get 2 successes, I'm going to guess that you'll do 2 stamina damage plus whatever this is, which looks like an extra stamina damage, and then that symbol, which if I'm honest, I just don't know what it is. It almost looks like a range symbol with a line through it, but that doesn't really make any sense, does it? I don't know. And then if you got 3 successes, maybe you'd have all of that plus another 3 stamina damage. And if you got 4, well, then you have to pick which one you want, right? You either go through the top line or you go through the bottom. And they do different things. So this one you can push and like follow up. And this one I have absolutely no idea what that symbol is. I'm guessing that's the way that works. So really it just determines the effects that you have based on your successes. You're not just going to do 1 stamina damage per success. It's going to be more complicated than that, which is interesting, right? Pretty cool. I actually like it as a system. I actually read through this twice and I think that's what it is. If it's not that, do let me know in the comments and I'll put like a pinned comment. But that's the way that I interpret that. Now let's move on to the second article, Anakin Skywalker. Now we've already seen some of his abilities and stuff. There's not that much here. but we do see his stance card, which I think is pretty interesting. So actually just realizing this, I think the symbol here on the defensive one, I think that's going to be deflect, because it talks about how Jedi will return damage, and it would make sense because Ahsoka had that as well, right? So maybe the orange symbol with an arrow is like, I'm going to deflect you a wound if you get it, which is pretty strong, right? So it means that if you get expertise, then you're going to deflect damage back. Pretty cool, pretty interesting. Let's have a closer look though at his stance cards. So he has two forms, right? So this one here is supposed to be more about attacking, and you can see that because he does 8 when it comes to melee. He has 8 attack dice and he has 5 defensive dice. Whereas in his defensive formation, he does 1 less in the attacking realm, but he gains 1 extra dice when he's defending. Okay, makes sense. And obviously his abilities are different as well. I don't know how easy it is to change stances. I don't think we've seen that yet. And I'm guessing the reason they're doing 2 articles is because Adepticon looms, and they're going to probably have everything revealed at that point, and all the answers and questions that we need will be answered by piecemeal people playing, right? But either way, it'll be interesting to see if you can maybe start in the defensive stance and then change at some point, so you get the benefit of being like range shot and being defending against it, but then safer when you get into attack, like, and then more aggressive when you get an attack, I should say, sorry. That'll be interesting to see. We obviously don't know. But in his offensive formation, all of his expertise in the attack, they're literally just going to give you, I think, criticals, right? Nothing fancy, just plain old damage. On the defensive formation, it's blocks and I think deflect. And then you can sort of see the difference, right? If he gets 1 success, he's going to cause 3 stamina damage. Then it's 2, then it's 2 plus whatever. Then it looks like he gets a jump in this one, which is pretty cool. Then we keep seeing this tool here, which I think this is actually, that doesn't look like shove. I don't know what this is. We're going to have to get some clarity here. One of these will be shove. Maybe it's shove and follow up, because they do talk about following up. Maybe there's a difference, right? And then this last symbol, I'm not sure. I don't really know what that one is. That could be the recover one. I don't know. But on his other stance, you can see there's a big difference straight off. You have to pick the minute you get 2 successes. You're either going to go through the top one or the bottom one. And I'm pretty sure that this one here literally is the recover symbol, because they pretty much mention it. So he's defensive formation, and he's harder to kill in this formation because he can get his stamina back. Pretty cool, right? Whereas the bottom one seems like it's all about maybe repositioning, maybe pushing people away and then moving away or something like that. Obviously, it's really quite hard to determine. It's worth noting that when he attacks in his defensive formation, his expertise isn't going to be as interesting. He's going to do less criticals and more just hits, but he is going to do potentially more defensive work if he gets 4 or more expertise. So you can see overall this one is more defensive, obviously, and this one is more aggressive. Makes sense, perfect. We get another look at his abilities, but we've pretty much already gone through these. What they do confirm here is that this bottom symbol here, that is healing somebody up a wound. If they have the Galactic Republic tag, which you can see right here, then he can heal them a wound. Pretty cool, nice to know. All in all, really good. I like them. Probably spent longer on this one because there's just a lot more detail on this one. It's very interesting how this works. I'm very intrigued to see how this is going to play. Oh, I really like the rules, to be honest with you guys. I just really like them. And as I said, Adepticon's around the corner. We're probably going to see more very soon. And if you want to be kept up to date with all the little bits of information, then make sure you subscribe to this channel. Otherwise, I hope you have a most beautiful, beautiful day. Like and subscribe. Goodbye.